everyone to episode 11 of our podcast. In this episode, we'll talk about integrating AI in a spatial environment. I'm with Tommaso Di Bartolo, the founder and CEO of Phygital, the startup laying the building blocks of spatial experience. How is it going, Tommaso?
Phenomenal, Romeo. So good to see you. Let's do this. Hooked.
Absolutely. Amazing. Yeah. So let's get into this. Now, obviously, the world of AI got rocked in the last week with the release of DeepSeek. From the data we have available right now, they trained the model at a fraction of the cost that OpenAI or Google incurred, and they're also open source. So, given that fact, Fidgetal's core product is heavily AI dependent. How are you evaluating this news? Are you optimistic?
Optimistic generally always, because as an entrepreneur, the glass is always not just half full, but overflowing, right? I think it's the best moment to be an entrepreneur on earth, which doesn't mean that everything is smooth, right? Or things are linearly evolving. I think actually that nothing is linearly evolving right now, with on one hand, a decentralized infrastructure, on the other hand, artificial intelligence, and then you have the entire spatial, right? So I think that's really we are in an era where things are making and breaking, and behavior are truly to be surprises in a way that we have never experienced in the past, and therefore the technology advancements are at light speed, Romeo, right? So we've never seen the reduction of performances within 6 months or weeks, right? Like we're seeing right now. You mentioned DeepSeek, and that's definitely something that is wowing and impactful, right? I'm actually pretty excited to see these changes, right? Because while we have been seeing some major players, such as obviously OpenAI or also Google and Gemini, right? Making fast advancements, and the perplexities of this world and whatnot, making fast advancements, right? You are now seeing that underdogs, right, are coming even from other side of the worlds, right, with game changing efficiency, and that is very important for the entire industry. What does it mean? It allows or it forces us. It extends the and stretches the entrepreneurial and the development cycle to become better, faster, right? That's what
Right.
innovation is, right? So instead of saying, hey, we need now a multi-million dollar for infrastructure, we are seeing that shrinking model sizes is the way to go. Okay, great. Now we are in shrinking model sizes, right? And let's do this. And that's exactly how we are also thinking of it with our artificial intelligence, our large visual model, right? Say, okay, how can we be faster? How can we shrink models, right? How can we obviously train models on specific circumstances? In our specific case, is all about experiences, meaning the full fuel for the spatial is the AI, right? And in order for the AI to be faster and more the reasoning being more contextual, right? There needs to be a lot still to be discovered. The beauty of it is that we are all in the same boat, meaning it's new to everyone, and everyone is is aiming to have a better, faster product
Yeah.
with less bandwidth, right? And therefore optimizing things. So to respond to your question, how am I looking at this? Phenomenally excited. This is game changing for any startup and obviously also for us.
Fantastic. Yeah. And also, US is launching the $500 billion Target AI fund. That is also going to be amazing, right? With SoftBank, OpenAI, Microsoft all coming in the same boat. That actually brings out the question: what do you think? What are your opinions on open source AI like DeepSeek, like Llama, or versus what do you think of this closed source AI like OpenAI, which is ironic the naming. Like, does it have a lot of differences in between?
I think artificial intelligence fundamentally, the quality of artificial intelligence serving human being is defined by the data set onto which it's trained, and the more minds you have associated with a model, meaning an open source, the faster it can evolve, right?
Yeah.
Also from an ethical perspective, from a risk assessment perspective, having closed environments have always been long term or mid to long term, leading to potentially also dangerous economical evolutions, right? So I'm definitely in favor of open source and decentralization in order to democratize knowledge, democratize access, democratize also the data structure, and therefore the transparency and traceability of the data and what we are training. I mean, this is not just a linear evolution, as I was saying at the beginning, but AI is truly the fuel for robotics, the fuel for the automotive industry, the fuel for any form of mechanic and embodiment, which also leads into spatial, right? That then can serve human beings. So the question is, where is the data coming from? Who owns the data? How much access do we have to data? How much is it traceable, the data? So I think it's very important that we are here consciously as entrepreneur coming together and say what the mid to long terms truly helps humanity, right? Not just from a service perspective, but helps also from a transparency perspective. So what is it we know and how the data
Yeah.
is trained, right? So open source, very, very relevant for ethics, for the evolution of it, and for us truly to be on top of it and guiding it rather than being overwhelmed or overramped, let's say.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. So that brings us on the next question. That is, Physical and Fury are approaching AI with the goal to build a large world model or something like that. What does that exactly mean? How do you integrate AI in a spatial environment?
To put it in very simple words, we are to the real world what words are to OpenAI. So OpenAI or the ChatGPTs of those world, they're trained through words, right? That's basically how the
Mhm.
intelligence is put together, right? And that's one data source, right? So you have the data source of having scraped all the content, and you put the content into these machines, right? And they are much faster and better than any mind can assess and reason and create basically then suggestions out of it, right? So and for right now, this is called a 1D or 2D tokens, meaning that the dimensionality of which the data is trained with is either text or image in, and then from an out perspective, you have text out, right? Or image and video out, which are still two-dimensional or one-dimensional. Text is one-dimensional, and anything that is seen or picture entered is two-dimensional, right? So we're moving now towards something that we say, okay, what other data sources does humanity have, right? And that's where the actual planet Earth comes into play. So planet Earth is a three-dimensional environment, right? It has a depth,
Yeah.
height,
Yeah.
and that height and length, right? And we take that information, right? We take that scene from an image, for instance, or from a video, but the video is also nothing else than the multiple scenes back to back, right? And we take that information, and then we feed that information and make then and create the actually intelligent, feed the actually intelligent, so that it can reason and understand the environment. So if you're looking at a building, in front of a building you have palms, and in front of palms you have a table. And when we move it now
Mhm.
towards spatial, that environment, in order for spatial to see the environment and behave accordingly to the environment. So what is the limit about the palms? When does the table start? When does it end? Where is the chair? When can the chair fall because there is an inclination? So all the things that actually allow us as a human being and our mind and our sight and our senses to say, this is a real scene, right? That's how we perceive things. So this is real,
Yeah.
real, right? So in order for us to perceive the digital world as real, the digital world needs to understand the physical world. And that's when it becomes one. So it's merging and not overimposing. And in order to merge and overimpose, meaning in order for the digital world to truly become a globe for the physical world, right, it needs first to read and interpret. And then you can do things like, hey, can I digitally play ping pong? So meaning without having a ping
Mhm.
pong in my hand, right,
Yeah.
with the wall in front of me. Well, you can, if the digital world understands the distance, maybe understands even wind, understands basically the circumstances, right? That you can then interact with it, right? Does it make sense, right? And
Yeah,
we are
yeah.
reaching with that instance, with that description, we are achieving an acceptance from our senses, from a cognitive perspective, from a truly human embodiment perspective. We achieve an acceptance of the digital scene being real in the physical world. And that's when
Right,
physical
right.
digital becomes truly accepted. In short term, for as long as we are overimposing stickers on top of the real world, we are just curious because we say, oh, without this, I'm not seeing it. With this, I'm
Mhm.
seeing it. Ha ha ha, it's fun. But comes a moment where you say, "So what? Now I'm seeing stickers. Is this what I want? Right? No, it's not what I want. I actually would like to have something that understands me. First, it's bespoke to me, and that's exactly what the role of the AI is. I mean, it knows what your preferences are in that location. So space and location is now a new component, a new element that is fundamental to the spatial environment and previously was not understood, right? Then matter, meaning whatever is around you, matter is relevant because you basically are now reflecting an emotion towards what is around you, and that thing that is around you, the table, the palms, the building, has an impact on you. And for that scene, you basically have then triggers, or you have potentially certain experiences that are created where increase the odds for you to interact. And within that scene, then you can basically do shopping, communicating, socializing, fostering community. And that's where digital comes into play, right? So we believe that by having that technology in play that exactly digital is doing, right, humanity can derive greater value from your daily living because now we have an environment that is not static for everyone, but it's actually bespoke to you. And and
Yeah.
that is a beautiful way of living life.
Exactly. Yeah. So just to understand that I'm understanding it all. So right now, if you use something like the Meta Quest goggles or the VR headsets, everything in that environment is created and designed by someone, like some designer. But with when a large world comes into play, everything is AI generated, and then through these goggles, through haptics, you can actually interact with this world that has not been created by a person but an AI model essentially, right?
Allow me to zoom out, Romeo. When you use the word VR, it's a closed environment. So whenever you are talking about goggles, right, this is the closed
Hmm.
environment where you have physically, as a human being, you have to set up a headset, right? And within that headset, right, everything is limited in your sight to that headset, and whatever you see in that headset is then also not real from a human interaction perspective, right? Because it's digital, right? What I'm talking and what digital is doing is the AR side of things, the spatial side of things, not within a headset, right? Meaning that you have your phone, or in the near future, smart glasses, right?
Yeah,
Think
yeah,
almost of three computing platforms: the mobile computing platform, the smart glasses computing platform that is in the making, and then you have the headsets, right? Headset,
yeah,
closed environment, primarily also stationary in a location, which means home or office. Totally different use case. We are not into this. We are into use case mobile, on the go, outside, meaning mobile phone or smart glasses, right? And now with those smart glasses, obviously in the future, we are not here to reveal, but we have some experiments going here with one of the major players. But starting out with mobile phones, you basically start interacting with physical digital environments, right? And here specifically students on campus, right? That can create those environments digitally, very creative way, create those environments. And those environments are made available for those who have not created it, right? So meaning you have the creator and you have the discoverer, right? And you can discover those through your mobile phone. So imagine that you're going on campus at Stanford to the coffee shop, right? And you stand in a
Yeah.
coffee shop,
Yeah.
instead of opening your phone and say, let me swipe again through TikTok, right? And
Hmm.
with all due respect, okay, we've done it a couple of years, it's fun, right? Yes, I'm being entertained. I'm not saying we're replacing it, right? But we become
Yeah.
basically the alternative to it. To say, let me actually take a look what's around me, right? And then you open up the very application. Within the very application, we can see who is in the vicinity, and you can also see who is in the vicinity, and also what environment is in the vicinity. So you see basically experiences, so location to foster community, and who is engaging in that location, and what are the topic of this location. It's about rock, it's about sport, it's about fashion, it's about their beauty, it's about the right. And then you move towards that location, and you can continue and start the interaction with new peers and mingle with new peers, right? And we call it pulse, right? We don't have a friendship model like social media. We don't believe in it, right? The reason why we don't believe in it, by the way, here is very simple. Because, if I ask you and any other human being, I say, how many friends do you have in life? Nobody's saying 2,378. No, 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 no.
Yeah.
So we have made believe, right, that because we have 2,378 friends or so-called labeled friends on any social, that these are the friends. Everyone will respond always the same. I can count my friends on what? On a couple of fingers, right? And we have never been possible. It has never been possible to say that digitally. And we have built an entire algorithm that defines, based on circumstances and vicinity, who truly is your inner circle. So it's not hard coded where you say, Tommaso, friend. Okay, now Tommaso is my friend. No, but it's really, what have you done with Tommaso? Like, for instance, Romeo, you and me go way back now a couple of years, right? And so we have built a relationship. We have worked
Correct.
together.
Yeah.
We have done stuff together, right? So you belong to my inner circle in a specific topic. So when I talk about, for instance, crypto, decentralization, augmented reality, spatial, and I talk about content, I think of this great talent, Romeo, right? That I've been having the pleasure to make and break things over the last years, right? And so we are curating that relationship. So you belong to that inner circle tied to a specific topic, and that's exactly what we are now. We have now brought into the digital world, right? And by the way, if we lose sight, Romeo, for whatever reason, and that's life, right?
Yeah.
We go
Hmm.
apart, or maybe we don't do that. No, that doesn't mean that we are still besties in that moment, right? So that's the intelligence that we are bringing also into the relationship building of Weary. So not only is it a spatial environment, not only are we democratizing experiences where we empower every single student on campus to unsuck campus by creating a more fun way of interacting with location and meeting like-minded, but we also have this model, this underlying model that empowers to build more genuine relationship, and that's what needed. Actually, that is what we have enough evidences of. One of the key reasons why anxiety and depression and loneliness are happen, because social media has impulses of, hey, you're becoming famous and you have people, but ultimately it's not. So it's a very strong contrast for young minds, and we are inverting that and saying, hey, first of all, go outside, do stuff, right? Your body is moving, and we have enough evidence that is huge, right? People love it. Then you meet physically, but still the digital is there, so it's more enriched, right? And it's
Uh-huh. Yeah.
blowing the student's mind.
Amazing. Okay, so this has been my favorite episode so far. Super educational. Thank you for going through all of this and breaking down the examples. That's amazing.
All
Okay,
right,
so
Romeo.
just want to leave our audience with one last update on the Fury version 3. Tommaso, any update on that? How is it rolling out? Who are getting access? And obviously, everyone is welcome to join the Fury closed beta. The QR code is on the top left corner. Please scan it and join the community and try out the app.
Yeah, VO3, it's on a countdown. I assume that within maximum mid of February being released to early adopters, meaning what's the pre-requirement? First of all, go on Viri.world to join our, you are invited to join our Discord community. in the Discord community, you have early adopters, and see there the weekly challenges that we have that are physical digital challenges. So it's definitely going to be fun, right? And for those that are highly active and contribute, right, we then extend this invite to download the application. We have user groups with whom we are learning from every single Friday, right? Next Friday, tomorrow, here from the day of our recording, is the next user group. Super valuable feedback, and also thanks everyone, right? We're really humbled for all these demand from in the United States. We are about 10 to almost 12, 13,000 on our students on our wait list. So apologize that we cannot let everyone in right now. Otherwise, we'll crash the server, and also we would just go from into quantity without quality. And because we're building something new, Romeo, as you know, it's about quality first. So if you're interested, join the community, provide feedback, and let's go hand in hand. We are building it not for you, but with you. That's the difference that we are doing. So if you're compelled about the idea of having a new dimension, a dimension that you are creating, a dimension where you can foster community in a different way, in a more genuine way, in a way where you can connect actually in a physical life, but creating a digital life on top of it, well, the very world is the place to be. And I'll see you in there, I guess. Right, Romeo?
Fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. See you in the very world. Have a great day, guys. Bye bye.